Hey everyone, and welcome to Grenades and Horseshoes, where we strive to bring good times, good feels, and general shenanigans every Wednesday night at 9 p.m. Eastern.
The gate's open.
Hey, the gate's open. That's not code for anything. We are here for Grenades and Horseshoes, episode 10. So if we've been doing one show a year, this would be a decade we've been doing the show, right?
That's true.
Yeah.
I mean, that's solid math. Yeah. So as always, I'm MarkSquare. I'm joined here by my two co-hosts. I am also a co-host. I'm not saying I'm like the pinnacle of human achievement.
I mean, we talked about naming the show the MarkSquare Show, but he wanted the Grenades and Horseshoes Show.
Yeah.
You're the sugar at the top of the food pyramid.
God, that's the weirdest thing I've heard. I'm blushing. All right, so Yunalala here.
Hi.
And as always,
Blusher of MarkSquare.
great goes to me. It's only the weirdest things that would make me blush. It's the weirdest thing ever. So welcome to episode 10. And, let's talk about it. This week in Destiny, it's the little bit of the, hey, there's Ollie. A little bit of the, a little bit of the, well, that's not a phrase I should use publicly. A little bit of the new might have worn off of Destiny. We might be settling into a routine.
Yeah.
Getting out of the honeymoon period a little bit, maybe.
Yeah, that's a good way to put that. Yep. So how about you guys? Like I played a little bit of Destiny this week. Of course, Gray and I were going to a music festival. We did that, so that took up a lot of our time. But did the Nightfall 3 times with no success, which I loved every second of it. I don't know why, but the Nightfall is probably my favorite thing to do in Destiny 2. It's I don't know, I just love it. Like I love everything about the way that it changes every week. I think the level of difficulty is just right. I would hate it if I went in there, and some people can go in there, they're talented enough to like beat it, first shot, or their loadouts are better than mine or whatever. My PlayStation
Mark,
character.
You and I and Justin from Dad Tales did it last week and completed the Nightfall, and it still took a few runs mainly to find those relics, but because of it being Wednesday, it's only been out for a day. I actually haven't jumped into the Nightfall yet. What do they have going on in the Nightfall this week?
This week it's basically a fancy word for you have this much time. There's no way to bump your time up.
Oh,
it's
really?
a set amount of time. Yeah, just like it kind of feels like when you're trying to get that sunrise bounty, or you were in Destiny 1. It feels like that. You've got about that much time. The issue I'm having is I've just started leveling a few days ago. Well, I've been trying to do it a little bit off and on, but I realize the community is on the PlayStation for a lot of it. We do play on Xbox, and we'll be playing on PC as well. But a lot of the people who weren't super happy about not getting exclusives, those people are actually not on the Xbox anymore. They've moved over to the PlayStation if it was an option for them. So I realized that to interact with the most people, I definitely need to level up on PlayStation. So I've been doing that, but I'm only up to like a 270 I think now, and my loadouts are very limited. So it's like I've got what I've got. In order to keep my light level high enough to feel comfortable in a Nightfall, I've got very few options. So that's what I'm dealing with now. But it's fun. It's almost like a challenge mode that's been placed on me when I would prefer not to be challenged, but I'm having a great time. So what about you guys?
I want to welcome everybody that's joining us on the Planet Destiny chat. S. Suitor, good to see you. S. Suitor T, happy to see you. Feel free to engage with us if you have questions about our week in Destiny. We'd love to hear about your week in Destiny. We're just kind of going over the Nightfall so far this week. I think Mark is the only one who's had a chance to jump into it, and it's that really my favorite strike. I know it's your favorite strike, Mark, and Yuna is probably, I think when you guys went through it, epic. This Pyramidion strike, they did such an epic job on it. I mean, so much so that when I'm running the playlist, like I want to see that strike come up. That's the one that I'm going after. So you ran it 3 times. It's just straight a time limit modifier. How close did you guys get?
Very close, 2 of the times. This is what happened. The 3rd time, we're like, okay, I think we might have enough time to run another one. And the one thing I've noticed about these timed these timed things. If I rush, I think this is true of a lot of people. The more I rush, the slower I go. Okay, I wake up, I'm late for work in the morning. I'm going to be even more late because I'm going to rush about it. I'm going to screw things up and I'm going to fall down and the milk's going to spill and there's going to be all these things that happen and it's going to be my fault. So that's the way the nightfall really feels. It feels like if you rush it, you're not doing things properly. You're trying to take shortcuts and it inevitably leads to, death and failure.
Yeah.
So,
Death.
yeah.
Right. I've heard some good strategies about using the Night Stalker with Torrent as Dr. Venkman, Bill Murray himself in our chat has told us. Yeah,
I agree.
Which I think
strategy.
could probably go a long way in that Nightfall. I'm looking forward to jumping in there and trying it. And I love that since I enjoy this strike so much in particular that we have a playlist. We have a special guest on the podcast.
Sorry for the puppy.
Oh,
I gave him attention before, I swear.
no, you're you're being a bad dog mom. He
Uh-huh.
says it. I heard him say
on the show.
specifically,
Yeah.
Yuna mistreats me.
Yeah.
What is that?
No, he just wants belly rubs.
Yeah.
Belly
Wow.
rubs and hiney scratches.
That's not
Who doesn't?
It wasn't worded.
Nem, welcome to the chat. It's great to have you always. Thanks for all the support for the show too. But as I was saying, I love how we can jump into this Nightfall and we can actually, pick this strike. Normally we have to get lucky, but we can dive into that, and I hope to get a lot of practice on it, especially as the weekend kind of comes in. Yuna, how about you? What did you do this week in Destiny?
Actually, I didn't play a whole lot of Destiny. I say that, but I managed to get, in the limited time I did play, I did manage to get up to 20 on PlayStation because I did start on Xbox. Up to 246 if I can put on all my highest level stuff. Not very high, but building everything up.
Yeah.
Sorry, he's staring at me.
All awkward, like.
I did get to play with some of my work buddies on Friday night, so that was really cool.
Nice.
Over on Xbox. So.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. I met some of your work buddies once. They were really great time. We talked about wardrobe choices. Seems like short white shorts came up quite a bit with a lot of your male coworkers. It sounds like you work at a fun place.
I do. I
Right.
can't talk about where I work though.
Yeah.
At least not on stage.
She's in the
Right.
CIA.
My week in Destiny was pretty short too, mainly because I actually flew down to Kentucky to hang out with Mark, and we went to a big music and bourbon festival. So that knocked 4 days of potential Destiny playing off. And for somebody who has really shifted a lot of my life away from other activities into Destiny, I definitely felt weird not engaging in the game, engaging in the community and just that social group that I enjoy playing with online. Seeing a lot of things going on, right? We have faction rallies have launched. I haven't had a chance yet to dive into the faction rally piece. Have you guys done a lot in the faction rallies yet? Yeah.
I've done quite a bit.
I just signed up for Future World Cult.
Future War Call? Yeah.
Yeah.
Who are you repping, Mark?
Well, it's the new Mark arc, of course. So, like, I like things with M's on them. It's like monogrammed for Mark. That's the way I like to see it. So, yeah, and I realize, the prize might not be that great that we know of. It could be great.
Is it a hand cannon or a sidearm?
It's a sidearm.
A sidearm?
It's a sidearm.
Okay.
Yep. So anyway, it could be great. So yeah. What about you? You haven't chose yours yet.
No, but I've always repped primary. I've always aligned myself more with Future War Cult than the other factions. Now, granted, in Destiny 1, it was a race to 25 with all of them to get the exotic class items. So I did that for all the factions. But with this whole faction rallies, it kind of leads me to just want to devote my allegiance, my time, my resources to just one faction, and beat the crap out of those other two factions.
Yeah. Well, I'm in one of them. I mean, it could happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're
exactly.
gonna bring it, and we're going to destroy you.
I was hoping one of us would pick Dead Orbit and wear some guy liner or eyeliner, depending on who it was. But yeah, it's fine. It's fine. You guys can gang up on me on this. I love the we're getting a little bit of an echo. Nem says in our audio. I like the fact that I like the fact that we are kind of getting this. Everyone's being pretty playful about it too. Everyone's having a good time and talking a little trash, and it's really been fun. And there's been some really fun moments on Twitter about it. Also, it should be said at the end of between segments we should let him out. She's talking, let him out. I was kidding. Don't do that. No. So it should be said also at the end of the show. Oh, I'm going to be by myself. I'm just going to go completely insane, like, woo! So at the end of the show, we're going to do our live gameplay segment, or our after show, as we always do. And this week, we'll be joined by Dan Finity. You guys might know him, or at Dan Finitwitch on Twitter. Really funny guy. We'll be doing some PvP matches with him, as you can see. Oh, maybe you can't see yet. Gray's been leveling. He's got like a pretty basic loadout ready over here on the PlayStation. So we'll be doing, Dirty Dan, says Nem in the chat. And so, we'll be doing some PvP together with him and enjoying that. I'd like to also, before we jump into our first segment, we're going to have Hidden Hand this week. So what Hidden Hand is I talked about you guys when you were gone. What Hidden Hand is a collection of glitchy things that have happened in Destiny 2. So this isn't, we're not making fun of the game. This is something that I was really hoping. I thought to myself, one of the things I wanted out of Destiny 2 is I wanted the weird physics to still be there somewhat intact. The funny stuff that happens by accident, or the funny stuff that really just kind of, you're like scratching your head like, what is going on? I love that kind of thing. Kind of feels good. So anyway, we're going to do that, a Hidden Hand segment. So real quick before we do that, though, I wanted to make a quick announcement. I've got another podcast on the horizon that I'll be doing with Matt Oishi and Lays Summerstone. So it'll be a podcast for the DCA. So that's the Destiny Community Artists group that Matt, Lays, and myself are all in together. If you wanted to check that out, the community itself, if you go onto Twitter at DestinyComArt, you would find the DCA Twitter there, and that's the main one for the group. And they retweet a lot of the artists that are in that Destiny Community Artists group. And Matt, Lays, and I will be doing a podcast, a video podcast for the DCA, and I'm super excited to work with those two. Very, very great Guardians, very fun to be around. So this show, of course, is not going anywhere, but you'll just get more MarkSquare.
Don't sound so optimistic, Mark.
So we need to get
this show isn't going anywhere.
You're glass half empty. I'm glass half full. I meant that as a good thing.
Yes.
Meaning, our group is staying the way that it is, and we'll be on this channel and on YouTube. And actually, we're actively working to getting the audio-only version of the show up on iTunes. So those can listen to it there as you drive to and from work, or whenever you listen to your favorite podcasts.
So you'll need to tune in here if you want to see the spaceships and the scenes that we make and everything. But and also you'll want to tune in here if you want to see our live gameplay segment, or our after show that we always do. But when you're driving to work, you can catch all of the talk there, and we'll do our best to, anything visual, we'll talk it out. We'll describe it in detail, so you won't be missing anything. In detail, yes, that's right. We'll do textures, tastes. We'll do, what is it? Taste.
Taste?
Doorknob.
What? Texture and taste?
Yes.
That's right.
All right.
Sound, smell, and vision. So let's go to our first segment, Hidden Hand. First and only.
That sounds true. Yeah,
Live stream hand check.
Okay, so what you're looking at here is we had finished. One thing you missed too. Thanks for joining the chat, everyone. Yeah, all these Guardians dying. DJ, basically, it was a.
Yes.
We beat this section, but only just. And so there was an auto death, like it's trying to wipe us, but we're getting back up. And we just kept dying. We kept dying and laughing. I mean, what you can't hear in this video just absolutely dying laughing every single time.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was a great one. So that was just one of the things that happened during the launch of Destiny 2. And of course, there's another one. So I got killed, and then instead of, I guess, falling to the ground, I started tumbling like I was a zero gravity guy there. Actually,
your
it's
body's
pretty
just
fun.
kind of rotating around.
Yeah. Some kind of breakdancing maneuver.
Yeah, it's like you're in one of those skydiving tubes that you can go and pay money and go float around in.
So these first three were all mine, all from the dying a bunch is hilarious, and it was felt good too because we had just beat it. Now this one I really enjoyed. This was during the long grind, the initial stories and strikes and all that stuff that we did, and we saw this wizard, and I'm like,
oh my gosh.
What is happening to your torso? It's like one of those things at a car lot that like the flappy guys.
Yeah, it's like the animation for the cape got stretched out or something. That's
like its feet were dangling down, like it was some kind of like wizard banjo string too. It was like down. Ooh, not that one.
Interesting.
We are in a faraway place here. We heard banjo.
The next one here. All right.
So this one starts the ones that Nicolian and G-Face sent in. They're from the Dynamic Destiny Squad clan. They're content producers for us. So what I love about this, I love the way Nicolian actually plays the game. Like she, instead she's waving. Instead of instantly shooting that goblin, even she doesn't even shoot him like until he comes back around and attacks.
He's having a bad day at work. That goblin.
He's like, I'm tired.
My darn gun is jammed. I got to try to fix it. And blah blah blah. Or is he's like fixing his knee?
Yeah, he was like rubbing his knee down there.
His knee's all messed up, and he's like, I gotta walk around this pillar. That's my job.
He's got some arthritis.
Yeah. Arthritis on his knee.
All right.
So thanks for sending that in, Nicolian. He was texting.
That's good.
Yeah, that's a good answer. Yeah, he was trying to
such a great part of the story missions.
It was. Dragon was so fun, and smashing all the thrall.
Do this like for an hour.
Yeah, it was very satisfying, smashing through rocks and all this stuff.
Yeah, and Mark trying valiantly to push people off the edges.
It needed to be done. Look at this. What happened to that guy?
He just disappeared. he noped out of there so hard. He's like, nope, not today.
Yeah.
Not today.
Not today. If you watch it really close, like what I think happens is, well, I'll let it play one more time, and then you guys can judge what you think happened. But that was such a fun mission. But this part in particular, just like smashing through. Then you get to drive the tanks and fire missiles and stuff. Look at that. Fell right through the floor.
Is it that knight that jumped backwards away from his shield?
So what I think is that knight popped his shield and it did something to the floor where the tank was. He sinks, like he just like drops down, and his orb actually ends up below underneath the map. So it was just like someone put an Acme hole down, from the cartoon.
Yeah, Wile E. Coyote school.
Yeah, there it goes, right down there. Yeah, so that was also Nicolian had that experience. Thanks for sending that in. So let's see this next one.
Should be this guy. All right.
So this is Thravix the Depraved is his name, but apparently he's also Thravix the Clumsy. Watch what he does. This is a tough one. He's constantly disappearing and stuff.
Oh gosh, he dropped off the map.
Whoops. So in Destiny 1, what would you expect?
You just pop back up from a side.
Oh my God, did he die?
Same. So in Wrath of the Machine, if your knight falls off in the Vosic encounter, he just comes back up later, like surprise.
Right.
And in this case, though,
he died.
Oh wow, that's fantastic.
I know. I think
it pulls
so
like
too.
an Atheon, right? If you push Atheon off the map, then it.
See, now that makes sense. That makes sense.
So
one time we did I know Mark was with me for sure.
Yes.
We did a public event, and the Cabal guy on the heroic just dropped off the edge, and we just sat there, and then he died, and we won.
Yeah.
I
We
like it.
pushed him back and pushed him back, and he fell off. Then we felt guilty for a second. We're like, oh, I guess we just kind of cheated these people out of like their loot drop if we can't finish heroic with him in the hole. But eventually, he just died.
Heck, that'd be
Yeah,
nice when that was
Yeah,
the
but it popped
nightfall.
up if you
Because that
won,
was a
so.
pain when it was the nightfall. Him teleporting out of the way, like
Yeah,
you're able to get him off the
Yeah.
edge.
absolutely.
Oh, so I think this is one of mine. Yeah, so this is pretty early on too. We're just trying to get down a high value target so that we can see an awesome throw on that grenade. Well short. Miss a few shots, miss. All right, finally kill him. And I go to grab his loot, and the loot chest starts going down the hill. Right? And here I'm not looking at the right thing, but you can actually see that the loot chest landed on his remains.
His body's still there.
My friends are dead. Roll me to the edge.
Poor guy. Insult to injury. Take my loot and then just grind me to the ground under the weight of it. But yeah, good. I love the physics in Destiny. It can't do anything else, right? It just does what it's programmed to do.
Yeah, the
I love
captain's
it
been
so much.
he's been demoted.
Well, one thing that I thought is usually when you kill those high value targets, I thought that they actually disappeared. I did not think that they actually left a corpse.
Me neither. Usually
yeah.
they don't.
I don't really see his corpse there, but then sure enough.
It's all
where's my
happening
loot?
behind the scenes. He's like, did it go up? Did it go? No.
It's like dragging his like limbs are flailing.
So sad.
He's also having a bad day at work.
Yes, he does.
All right.
All right.
So-
What we got now? I'm excited. I don't know about.
Yeah, this is a pretty typical Destiny glitch that we've seen a number of times. You kill a Cabal guy, which we're gonna actually go and look over on the right here, and he just stays floating in
He's
the
just
air.
standing there.
Yeah.
He's like,
Oh, yeah,
And we all
Cabal
could see
mommy.
it. It wasn't just one of our, it wasn't
Oh,
a
I was
lag
there.
issue. It wasn't like we could all see this
oh
guy
yeah,
floating in the
oh
air.
there I am, dead in the corner.
And the rest of the ads have all disappeared at this point.
It's
So
kind of there.
very interesting that he kind of got stuck.
Yeah.
But I think our ultimate hidden hand, our ultimate glitch from playing Destiny 2 so far is this one.
Okay.
And Yuna, you were actually pretty much involved with a lot of this situation.
I was there, but I was up
Yeah.
at the top thinking I was going to get some kind of Zelda moment.
Yeah, I didn't get a chance to upload the video of me falling through the world. Bye,
Yeah,
crew.
so basically what we were just kind of exploring on Nessus, and for those who have completed the adventure invitation from the Emperor, there is an island in the middle of, I don't know, some sort of Vex Milk Lake. And we wanted to go check this thing out because it had like this Vex structure around it. And when we went in there, there was a wall barrier, right? It wouldn't let us go through this wall barrier. And we're figuring, oh, this has to be some kind of a puzzle. There's a trick to it. We'll figure it out. Well, we managed to get to a place in the environment that we actually could fall through. And usually you would die. So Yuna has some videos of falling through and just dying and dying. I actually survived one of them, and I'm actually underneath the map or somewhat outside of the map. And really what I'm trying to do here is glitch my way into that environment. Later on, we find out through that adventure that barrier goes down so you can continue through the mission and end up going through a teleporter. But this is a place geometry that we're not necessarily supposed to be, and I was stuck there. I couldn't get out. I actually had to go to orbit to survive it. But kind of an interesting glitch. The first time that I've been able to glitch out of the map in Destiny 2.
Mm-hmm.
That was pretty cool. Yeah, I was fascinated with that whole area. My hope is that inside that there was like these yellow beams up there, right?
Yeah.
And my hope is that you had to do something specific, a la A Link to the Past or any other Zelda game, where you change the angle of mirrors and you're trying to find a way out of this puzzle. As it turns out, there's an adventure that gets you in there. But I was like, oh, that'd be cool if this was here for like the whole expansion and nobody could figure out why.
Yeah.
I would really love that. I noticed your gun there, Gray, is actually a New Monarchy gun.
We've all made mistakes, MarkSquare.
I'm sorry, did you have stuff about this? You were down there too.
Yeah, no, it was kind of really cool. Man, I'm kicking myself for not getting that clip up because there was more than one little island. As I'm falling down, I can see that. It's up on my Xbox if you guys end up wanting to go look at that. But there was more than one island in there. It was so cool. And I fell for a really good time, so it wasn't even like I glitched in and died immediately. I'm talking like it was a good 30-second fall each time.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I have some
Yeah.
later on in this clip, but it's a long clip. We won't watch all
Yeah.
of it, but yeah. You would just fall and just keep kind of looking up and
Yep. And I can see your markers, and I'm like, hi.
Huh? That is
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah. See, now I want to go see if that little hole is still there, because it was like a ledge in the ceiling, and it looked like I wonder if that actually goes anywhere. And it went there, and then we just slid right off the map, which is really bizarre.
Yeah.
It looks like someone just didn't pull something over a little bit. Yep, there's the other island there.
Weird.
Yeah.
That's pretty awesome. And it's cool when games are new too, because you don't know what it actually is supposed to be. We didn't know why any of that was there. We thought, man, we could end up in some area that we're definitely not supposed to be in, which makes it dangerous and fun. It's exciting. I wanted to say one more thing about the previous clip. Oh, here comes the fall and the fall and the fall. The one where the Cabal was stuck in the air, right? So
Right.
I think this is how he did it, but you guys all know Faisal Mekki. You can find him on Twitter. He posted a picture of him. It said, "I'm kicking the Cabals back into space," And I think he had found one of those guys. And then what he had done, have you seen one of the funniest new emotes is the silly walk one?
I haven't seen that yet.
Yeah, Ministry
Okay.
of Silly Walks or something.
Yeah, it's based on the old Monty Python skit, I think. So he, it's this thing where you kick. It has a kick at the end, a really high kick. It's really funny. And you have to imagine John Cleese wearing heels and doing it, and then it's even funny. But he does. I think what he did is he found one of those guys floating, and then he did that kick, and then he swiveled around and took a screenshot. But it turns out perfect. It just turns out perfect. I'll retweet that and or quote that on Twitter later. It's so funny. Really great job. I think that's how it was made. I'll get Faisal to demystify that for me later. He's asleep right now, of course, because around planet.
Well, big thanks to MarkSquare, Nicole and her group there, and then I had contributed some clips, and that would be this week's segment that we call Hidden Hand. Yeah.
And great time making episode 10 of Grenades and Horseshoes. And if you stay tuned for a little bit longer, we'll be doing our live gameplay segment with Dan
Banjo.
Dan Finity. So we appreciate you guys coming out for episode 10, though. And thanks, Gray and Yuna, as always, for being my pals and putting up with my silliness every day.
Yep. So again, this is going to be a little bit different than how we normally structure the show. We're actually going to go ahead and play the outro, but we're not leaving. We're going to be actually doing our live gameplay after, and we're doing this mainly so that the iTunes edit has a nice clean mark, because unlike the other mark on the show, we want a nice clean mark to edit the gameplay portion, just because it doesn't make as much sense off of video, just listening to the audio portion. So again, thanks for joining us this week, and we hope to see you again next week.
Thanks everyone for tuning in. If you can't catch the live show, then you can find the replays on the Grenades and Horseshoes YouTube channel. If you'd like to stay connected to the community during the week, you can reach us at our show Twitter handle, @GNHshow, or at our individual handles, @MarkSquare_, @GreyGhost2E, and @Yunalala. We're also open to any ideas you may have, or seeing any clips that you would like to send in. Please send the feedback to gnhfeedback@gmail.com. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next week.